Ever stood in an empty room and felt you weren't alone? Psychic investigator Andy Matthews has.
I try and get to the bottom of the truth.
And he's not the only one.
I've gone all through my life, from a very young age, being aware of spirit.
Something's down there. It's really a quest to find out the truth behind what happens to us whenever we pass over.
Meet the McAlinden brothers from Belfast. Not many wine experts know as much about spirits as they do.
We've always felt there was something cold and dismal and unhappy from up here.
She lost her life here. It's gone.
Do you feel the energy you've just picked up in there is strong enough to move things?
Absolutely.
They believe. The question is, do you?
It chills your bones.
Psychic investigator Andy Matthews is headed for one of the oldest and once most infamous locales of Belfast City. "200 years ago, this part of the Docklands was known as Sailor Town, a grimy, treacherous area filled with taverns and boarding houses where the crews of merchant ships mingled with thieves and prostitutes. These streets have seen their share of robbery and murder.
This is one of the oldest parts of Belfast. In fact, what we're actually standing on is landfill. There used to be docks and a river where ships used to come up to the docks just over there. The building behind me, there's been some strange reports in there from the owners and the people that work there, some rather extreme instances of paranormal phenomena. But again, this is all circumstantial. It's all ghost stories, which is, you know, really why we're here, to try and investigate what is actually going on, if anything.
For the last 30 years, this building, which dates back to the era of Sailor Town, has housed the McAlindens' family business.
That's Neil, and you're Peter.
Yeah, nice to meet you. We're wine merchants. This is the last thing that we want to do is kind of promote ourselves as a haunted house or whatever. But there are so many things that have happened that are sort of over so many years. You are slightly curious.
It's not centred to one particular place.
It's mainly the second and third floor. In the shop here, you can sometimes, if you're on your own, it's later at night, you can hear noises like any old building. But as we go up through the building, second floor particularly, and second and third, there's been a number of things. If there is something, I would just want to leave it. I mean, it hasn't stopped us. I don't think it's not malevolent. There's nothing violent has ever occurred. We've had a few instances where it's been slightly scary for a few of us, but it's the building. It's part of our business in a way. It's just the way it is.
People have locked up here at night time and they've sworn that they can hear people walking back and forward here. Whether it's been people doing stock takes the weekend or closing up at night time, everyone has heard footsteps going back and forward in this part of the building.
You haven't actually got floorboards, though. This is concrete, so it's not creaking floorboards expanding with different temperature changes. It's actually a physical footstep.
Exactly.
When you're putting on the padlock here, it's almost like there's somebody at the top of the stairs is almost sort of saying, bye-bye, cheerio, go away.
Really?
Yeah, and that's happened to a number of people.
Do you get a feeling of who it is? Is it a man or is it a woman? Or
I get the impression it's a man. You do sort of, sometimes you can hear footsteps upstairs, and of course it encourages you to get the hell out as quickly as possible because it's unnerving.
They're very down-to-earth guys, you know, the kind of guys you can go out for a beer with. They're not the kind of guys that I think would admit to seeing or believing in ghosts for fear of ridicule and everything else, you know. So, yeah, I tend to run with the idea that they're telling the truth. They're not trying to wind us up in any way. And I think they genuinely believe that there is something here with them.
Upstairs on the third floor is where the strangest things have happened.
Last summer, I was doing some work on the computer, and I was the only person on the third and the second floor. And I went next door into the kitchen to get a cup of tea, 2 minutes, and came back in, and basically this chair was upside down. So I just walked in, and I thought, oh God, he's back again, sort of thing. And then I thought, right, don't think about it, he's still here, he's just mucking around, and I'll just forget about it. So I got on and did my work.
So there was nobody else in the building?
No.
You left to get a cup of coffee and a chair was like that, and when you came back it was like that?
Yes. But we've had other similar strange things have happened up here. About 10 years ago, a member of staff was clearing out some work with another member of staff, and the other member of staff was sitting with a coffee cup, and they're sort of chatting, and some force knocked the coffee cup out of his hand and drenched him in coffee.
The Northern Ireland Paranormal Society take a strict scientific approach to what they do. If they detect something unusual up here on the 3rd floor, they won't just assume it's a ghost in the machine.
The kind of results we're looking for is hard evidence. It's very easy to get carried away with bangs and door latches going and cold spots. I mean, as interesting as these other things may be, it's interesting, but that's it. We want hard evidence.
Basically what we're going to do is we're going to carry out some baseline tests. What we'd normally do when we go into a location, first of all, is take a walk around. First of all, familiarise yourselves with the building, take some measurements, sound levels, relative humidity, temperature, and the light levels as well.
Humidity is 49.7.
There's many areas in the field that we would be studying, ghosts, spirits and alleged haunted locations, mediumship. I personally, not necessarily the group's viewpoint, but I personally would believe in mediumship. But also I do believe that maybe a vast 98% of mediums are fraudulent.
Marion Goodfellow is one of the few mediums Darren believes to be genuine. According to her family, she's been communing with the dead since she was 3. Even before she reaches Direct Wine Shipments, she picks up a presence from the building next door.
That's good, we've got an energy already. A big man, barrel chest. Says his name's John. Pleased to meet you, John. Ah, he works in the hotel. There's water here. I can smell it, I can feel it. Can't see it, but he's telling me it's there. It's like I'm on the waterfront. He's a bit worried about me. He said it's a rough area. There's lots of ruffians about. He's like a doorman come watchman, and he's going to look after me. He thinks I'm a lady.
You are a lady. Hello, Beth. How are you? Right. Hey,
Hello, honey. Are you okay?
Yeah, what do you think?
Brilliant, brilliant place.
We've got some amazing stuff going on.
We've got some amazing stuff out here.
Yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me in the least, to be honest. Come on, let's go and have a look in here.
All right, love. I don't feel I'm special in any way. I feel that all of us are born with the sixth sense that I have, yeah, and that we carry it through our lives in different ways. I can smell hessian, hemp, that type of smell.
Sacks are made out.
Sacks, yeah, sacky sort of material. Like rope, you know, or like... Maybe it was a chandler's at some stage, or, you know, they had something to do with nets.
Up on the 2nd floor, Andy doesn't tell Marion about the ghostly footsteps reported by staff. He knows she'll figure it out for herself.
There's energy here. I'll let you take me, but I can feel an energy, all right?
All right.
I feel scared, afraid. Female. Can't see her. Just feel her presence. Feel sick. Starts in the pit of my stomach. Like I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And it sort of wells up, almost like it's cutting off your air supply. I get a bit asthma-y, if you like, and it just sort of swells within you. And that's how I know there's somebody that wants to come forward and talk to me. Makes me stop, makes me wait. It's like, you know, hey, you, stop here. I want to talk to you. Something coming from above. I don't know if something's coming down the stairs, but it's there, it's up there, and that's what I feel frightened of. I feel absolute, abject panic. She lost her life here. It's gone. This was it. This was the place. He's come in. John's come in.
That's the man from outside.
Yeah, the man from outside. He knows all about it. He's showing me a tall man, skinny, very skinny. He's showing me what I think is the assailant. I don't know if this girl was a working girl and he was a seaman or something like that.
A working girl as in a prostitute?
Yeah, I don't know. Because I can't speak to her, but as he told me before, it's full of ruffians round here.
Right, Mads, this is the 3rd floor. This is where
At the top of the stairs is the room where the chair was overturned. Here too, Marion senses a lonely presence, but it's distinct from the energy she encountered on the floor below.
I feel quite sad in here, quite depressed. That's what I feel in here, like as if somebody's sucking the life out of me. Can I open the door?
Yeah.
This is where it's coming from. In here. Got a gentleman. This man. Ever so depressed. Really, really fed up. He feels like I think he may have taken his own life here. I think he may have hung himself in here. I feel so low, so desperately low. I really feel for him. I feel he's... You know what I'm like? I pick up his emotion, and he is so desolate. Bless him. You know, nothing's worth that. And it took him a while to go as well. He was more strangled than... It wasn't quick.
Wasn't a quick hang.
No, no.
We've always felt there was something cold and dismal and unhappy from up here, and we'd actually been told in the past by someone that they'd felt that somebody had committed suicide up here.
The energy, the depression meets you as you come up those stairs. It comes out and grabs you. And I should think people feel very, very intimidated up here, wouldn't want to stay up here and wouldn't know why.
For years, a lot of our staff wouldn't come upstairs.
That's always
They
the
wouldn't
back
come
part.
into here, and we used to store everything in there and in this area before it was changed, and they wouldn't come up on their own. Always would go up in pairs.
Do you feel the energy you've just picked up in there is strong enough to move things?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Because Neil said he was in that room one night, popped out for a coffee, came back, and the chair he had been sitting on had been flipped upside down.
That's what he would have done probably to hang himself.
Oh my God.
Kick the chair away. You've got to think common sense, haven't you? And if he's trying to tell a story, he's trying to communicate in some way.
And that's the only way he can do it.
And that's the only way
by
he can do it.
showing us how he
yeah,
died.
how he died.
You know, that's kind of weird.
It chills your bones, because you sort of go, oh my God, this. But the fact that she was able to corroborate what we'd already felt, that was really quite spine-chilling to a certain extent. It was, you know, really quite something. It was quite shocking to a certain extent.
It's quite sad in a way. And kind of you sort of think about, well, the next time I'm locking up, do I want to be on my own?
Yeah, it's uncanny and unnerving, and I think we're going to sell the building.
Andy's off to examine the historical records at the Linen Hall Library to see if he can corroborate any of the evidence Marion has turned up.
In 1840, the building was owned by James Wiggins, who ran a boarding house, 79 Ritchie's Dock. Another name for a house of ill repute, maybe. And if that's the case, that would match possibly the murder of a prostitute, because you'd have had sailors coming in from all areas of the globe, I'd imagine, all sorts of shenanigans going on. In 1848, the dock was filled in. The area was good for hotels, with the Marine Hotel and Tavern there in 1840. And if I remember, while she was picking up the feeling of water running down the street, she picked up John the Doorman, which was apparently the spirit of a guy that stood outside a hotel, which, in actual fact, is in the history books. And actually, back in 1865, 7 Corporation Street, as it was known then, was owned by a James Lemon, who was a ship chandler, rope and sailmaker. And she picked up some smell of ropes, I think it was.
Docks brings dockers, ships brings sailors, and you know, so you had all the sailors, the dockers, so you had all of the merchants who traded in all shipfaring stuff here as well. We have boats and sailors, you have unique local ladies, you know, you have brothels, you have boarding houses, you know, and all the crime and the filth that goes with it. You know, it was a rough and ratty place, and you know, if you were a stranger and you didn't know where you were, then really you took your life into your own hands. I remember growing up, you know, very close to here, and I remember seeing, you know, black people for the first time, you know, and fascinated, and you had accents from all over the world. Quite an international community when you think about it. People remember the area like that, and, you know, I was saying the change really came about when they started building the motorways.
With heavy traffic on one side, a train station on the other, and a flight path overhead, low-frequency noise and vibration in this part of the Docklands could be generating what's known as infrasound.
When you're talking about infrasound, in the extreme cases, it can cause the eyeballs to actually vibrate, which can obviously cause some kind of confusion within the brain, so you start seeing things, and in some certain circumstances, hearing things. But when you get a report of a chair being turned upside down and coffee being thrown across the room at people, that's poltergeist activity. That's different, and infrasound obviously can't account for that.
Before Neil and Peter took over, the business was run by their father, Kevin. He was the first to sense an unusual atmosphere up here on the 3rd floor.
When I was running the place completely on my own, after the staff had all gone, I would always come up here, and I feel I could sit at that piano, and for some reason or other, I seemed to just get into a flow that I could go on forever. And I did get an impression quite often when I was playing that I could hear sort of like the rustle of clothes moving around, just a faint rustle. And I used to jokingly say to myself, maybe there's something here that enjoys music, you know.
Music brings out emotions, you know. Even the classical artists, a lot of them, it's been said they were self-medicating, you know, with the music and the notes that they were playing, and you know, it may open doors, it may open the atmosphere for something to come in contact with us, and it may encourage something that normal speech wouldn't. And plus, you know, being where it's located by the docks, you know, people would have been out to sea, you know, for weeks at a time, and they would have come here for entertainment or to listen to music, and it's probably been that way for hundreds and hundreds of years. So, you know, if there is any possibility of us picking up on something here, playing a nice piece of emotional music might do that.
Okay, if there's anyone here now, and you've appreciated the beautiful piano playing, we ask you to come forward now and speak to us and leave us a message.
Kevin's about to find out whether his playing has attracted an audience other than the paranormal team. Any response to Darren's questions, heard or unheard, will be recorded by ultra-sensitive microphones dotted round the room.
Spirits don't have voice boxes, so these disembodied voices are left on electrical equipment. We leave 30 seconds gap in between each question. The reason for that is we have to have silence, is because it gives, if there's anything there, it gives them the opportunity to speak.
Already it's clear there's been a positive response.
As soon as the piano stopped playing, things started coming through. Couldn't hear a thing at the time, but I could see that it was happening, so I mean, I was very eager to get back and listen to it.
We ask you to come forward now and speak to us. Leave us a message.
And again? Is that bump?
We ask you to come forward now and speak to us. Leave us a message.
I mean, everyone was accounted for. Everybody was accounted for. Everybody was in there.
Everyone was silent. We ask you to come forward now and speak to us and leave us a message. If there's a noise like that happens, I or anyone within the team...
Well, a noise that big, or that loud rather, because the sound levels there, the waves there match our own voices, or your voice there in that particular instance. So it would have been as loud as your voice, and we would have all heard that.
And the thing is, I didn't hear it here either.
Of course, you were sitting there with the headphones on, so you'd have picked it up straight away.
Leave us a message.
Bang.
There's your message.
A bump is encouraging, if a little vague. But the next sound to emerge from the static is very specific.
You can see that there's definite speech in the middle of the static, because I brought all the static down.
Sounds Sounds like somebody's saying a name, and then will you let her? So we've got... Yeah, that's definite.
Okay, the last one I've got for you was definitely speech, but it doesn't appear to be English. It sounds, you know, French to us, and
Again.
And the thing about this one is there's no noise before it, there's no noise after it. It's just there.
Play again, it's French. It's definitely a human voice, and it seems to be French, and nobody in here last night was speaking French.
No.
The investigation has yielded 2 distinct human voices, apparently emanating from thin air. But they don't appear to suggest the same potent spirit that Marion sensed on the day she arrived, the hanging man. Intriguing as they are, neither one is the voice Andy is looking for. To refocus the investigation on the hanging man, Andy tries a new approach. The 2 people who've had most contact with the presence on the 3rd floor are Neil and Peter. So it's through them that Andy will attempt to pick up the trail.
I just feel, and I go on instinct when I'm doing this type of work, that the ghost, and we'll call it the ghost, is not so much attracted to the building, but he's also attracted to you two, centred around you two.
Right.
So think of it as a mist.
But can you not encourage
surround
it?
you. Yeah,
you can
definitely.
encourage it to come to you by talking about it, and
I feel that you haven't got a multitude of ghosts in here. I think it's either 1, 2 at the most.
I'd be very freaked out if I was told that it was something to do with us, something that we were carrying around, because that's a bit of a
We've always
do your head in
we've never
thing.
we've never thought, we've always felt it's the building. It's the building and the history and the people who've been here, and that's what it is. Never ever have thought it's anything to do with us at all.
This spirit may be harmless, but as far as Andy and Marion are concerned, it's also trapped. They believe that its attachment to Neil and Peter means that it's trying to communicate.
If you want us to help you, and we can help you, we need to know that you're here. I'm going to ask your name. If you can tell me your name, maybe we can help you.
Jamie. Jamie. Oh, me, James. He's praying.
He's praying?
Hmm.
It's getting lighter in there.
Yeah, it's lighter.
That feeling of oppression's going.
But he's not gone from the building. He's just going from here.
Come on, it's moving. You got him?
He's gone, Andy. He's gone from here. He's gone somewhere else. He's not here anymore. He's gone.
What, another part of the building, or?
Yeah, he's gone from another part of the building.
That was weird because I felt it just go woof, like a blanket being
he
lifted.
started saying his prayers and that was it. Goof, it was gone. He's gone. Let's move then. Let's go and see if we can find him.
The atmosphere's changed.
Completely. He's gone. He's not here.
So,
he's gone. He could have gone anywhere. Could have gone on the roof. He could go anywhere.
So where do you think he's gone? Is he still in the building, do you think?
Oh, yeah, definitely. But you know they hide. They can hide anywhere. Shall we have a look in the loos?
It's funny, I just looked at the toilet and thought, is he in there? Maybe he's gone for one. But the funny thing is with these toilets is that all that time I've been feeling bad. I've come in here and it's felt completely light.
No. 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 Spirit are abound 24/7. No. Nothing. You could be standing next to one, sitting next to one on the bus, and you wouldn't necessarily know that that person was in spirit. They can be as three-dimensional as us. They have, you know, all the defined lines that we have, and they're not just designated to the nighttime hours. They're abound all day, every day. Just here.
As I walked in here, I was like, oh, here we go.
Here we go. Yeah. We've come to help you, sweetheart. Hold my hand, quick. Jamie, if you're Jamie, we've come to help you. No, can you feel him? I can feel him from your feet up. We've come to help you, sweetheart. Don't be afraid. Jamie, can you remember a good time? A nice time. A warm, sunny day. I want you to imagine that day. Feel the warmth on your body. You're going home. You can see your house in the distance. All the family are there. Knock on that front door, don't be afraid. Knock on that door. It's number 12. It's number 12, I can see the door. He's gone inside, shut the door. Keep him taken into the light. Take him into the light. Well, the image has disappeared. Hopefully he went home.
They've gone. The image has disappeared.
The image just faded out. And nobody should be hanging around, so excuse the pun, for that length of time. And to send him off into the light is what I feel is one of my jobs. And that's what I try and do. We try and move them away from this moment in time into where they should be. The next realm, if you like. The next adventure.
Direct Wine Shipments is a more peaceful workplace than it once was. The customers haven't noticed, but Neil and Peter have.
Well, the truth is, after this had all taken place, I don't know about you, but I didn't want to go upstairs for quite a while.
I'm similar to Neil. You kind of didn't want to go up there because of all the 3 or 4 days that we had.
Because I thought in the past I was able to block it out, but when you sort of get these stories of what actually has occurred, it just scared the bejesus out of me, and I thought, I don't want to go up there now, because that's where that guy committed suicide, and that's where that wee girl was stabbed, and dear God.
And I know a couple of the people who work here, like one of the girls who works in the office, the next day she said, no, the atmosphere is different. And I found that, particularly the top floor, I've been up there a few times on my own, it is a bit quieter.
I think in general it seems to be the case that things have quietened down.
Yeah, there has been no footsteps, there's been no noises, voices, coffee cups going anywhere. It has been quiet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now it's actually really boring now, so we want to know, can you bring them back?